welcome back to a video on my channel. I know it's been a long time, but I'm here with a really awesome project that you can make, and I think that it would make a great Christmas present, last minute Christmas gift, or just a gift to have around in case you have some people stop by and, you know, maybe a neighbor has a gift for you and you don't have one. You have these ready to go and boom, it's a nice little gift. So what it is it is a slimline gift card holder, or gift holder, or let me try that again. It is slimline cards. It holds the mini slimline cards in the back, and then it holds tiny mini slimline cards here. And then we have some tags, and it even has a little pen holder. I'm going to show you how to make it, and also you can add on to it anything that you want. Say you also want to add, for regular slimline cards, you could put another one on the back for regular slimline cards. Say you want to put regular cards, you could add another pocket over here for regular standard cards are A5 or whatever they are, the 4.5 by 5.25, I think it is. I can't remember. Anyways, the standard size, 5.5 by 4.25. That's what it is. Anyways, there's lots of options, but I'm going to show you how to create this one. And I did do it with a Christmas theme, and I did this one in black. And you can see it's all pretty everywhere. And then it has the slimline cards, which match the collection that I used, or it has the mini slimline cards. And then it has really tiny slimline cards, which I think would be good for a gift card holder. And then we have some tags, and all of these, I bought the kit, and with that kit I used very little paper to create these, and I used the cut aparts and scraps to make the cards. And so, I mean, you could make a few of them with one kit. So let's go ahead and make them. To create them, we're going to use a base. I'm going to use white this time, but I'm using 110 pound. This time we used black. We're going to use 110 pound cardstock to create the base, and I'm going to go ahead and give you all of the measurements as we go through them. All right, and then I'm also going to show you how I created, I created the envelopes. They're policy envelopes. I just created those to go with them. So I'm going to give you the measurements and show you how I created both of those. The one thing to note is that I use printer paper, but I do not use regular copy paper. I use slightly heavier printer paper to make my envelopes. Okay, so we'll go over that a little bit more when we get to that part of it. But let's go ahead and start right off the bat. Let me move my candle. Straighten out our view a little bit. There we go. All right. So we're gonna start off by building the back base of it. That's what I'm going to refer to as the base. And you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock to do that. We're going to use, like I said, we're going to use 110 pound cardstock. If you wanted to, you could use your patterned paper, and so then you wouldn't have to cover it. But to me, it seemed like such a waste because you're using very little pattern paper. I believe that I did this with the 6x6, yeah, I didn't cut into my 12x12 pad at all. This is all just 6x6 papers. And I didn't use hardly any at all because here it doesn't go all the way down, and here it doesn't go all the way down. I only covered what you can't see. I may have used, this one might not be, yeah, that might not be 6x6, but I can't remember for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Our first piece of paper here is going to be 8 by 9. We're going to put it in our scoreboard with the 9 across the top, the 9 across the top, And then we're going to score it at 1 and 7. So 1 and 7, and then we're going to turn it and we're going to score it at 2 and 6. 2 and 6. There we go. And then we're going to set that one aside. And then our next piece to build this base is 8 by 8. We're going to put it in here. It doesn't really matter because they're both 8. And we're going to score it at 1 and 6. And then we're going to turn it around and we're going to score it at 2 and 6. 2 and 6. And there we go. Now we have that. Let's go ahead and just score all of the pieces together. Okay. Next up, we're going to do our little pen holder, and that piece is going to be 6.5 by 4.5. Okay. We're going to put it in here at the 6.5 inch side, and we're going to score it at 1. And we're going to score it at 5.5. Okay, then we're going to turn it around. We're going to put it in here, and we're going to score it at 1/2 inch, 1.5, 2.5, and 3.5. Nice and simple. Okay, then we're going to take our next piece. This is our small card holder. This one is going to be 10.5 across the top by 5 down the side. Okay, and we're going to score this one on the 10.5 inch side at 1, 5, 6, and 9.5. Okay, then we're going to turn it around and we're going to score it at 1 and 4. 1 and 4. Okay, let's stick that one aside. And once you see how we put these together, you're going to see it's really easy, and you can just create your own in any size that you want. Okay, so our last little pocket is going to be our tag pocket. This is our front pocket, and this is going to be 7 3/4 by 5.5. That's the size of our paper. On the 7 3/4 side, we are going to score it at 1, 3.5, 4, 4 1/4, and 6 3/4. No, wait, is that right? 4 1/4 and 6 3/4. Yes. Okay. Then we're going to turn it around. So now we're at the 5.5 inch side, and we're going to score it at 3/4 and 4 3/4. Pretty simple, pretty easy. And then if you want to score everything, well, let's leave the cards for later. We'll just build the base of the box for now. Okay, so we're all done with that. We'll put that away, and we will go ahead and grab out our scissors. Okay, and let's start with our biggest pieces. The first thing we want to do is this part. So we're looking at the 1 inch side. I'm holding it with the 1 inch side here. This little rectangle here, that's got to go. So we're going to cut this one in at an angle, and then this one we're going to cut straight. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Okay, just like that. Then we're going to cut the other side off. We're going to cut it in at an angle. So this top part up here is angled, and then this part is straight. We're going to leave it straight, and we will cut that off. There we go. Now we're gonna turn it around and we're gonna come down here and we're going to cut we're going to cut it off. We're going to cut it here, nice and straight, okay? And then we will angle the tabs. But we want this part to be straight. I'll give you a close-up when I'm done here. There we go. So the only thing that was angled was the square tab right here. Everything else is straight. Then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to cut straight on that part. And then I'm going to angle the tab. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to do basically the same thing to this side. We're going to remove these upper ones, these upper rectangles here. Simply the same way we did before. Okay. Just like that. So this part here is the edges, the sides are angled. Okay, and then we're gonna come over here and we're gonna cut this one straight. And then we will angle our little tab. Okay. Same thing over here. We'll cut this one straight, or our first cut will be a straight cut, and then we'll just angle the tab. There's that. Okay, now we're gonna see how it comes together. We're going to take this piece, and this piece is just gonna lay on top of this piece. Is that what we're gonna do? No, we're gonna, okay. So on the one that is bigger or taller, we're going to remove these tabs. And we can do it at an angle too. Okay. All right. So now we have this. This is what we're left with. Our smaller piece and our bigger piece. We cut the tabs off the bigger piece, and then this piece is just going to attach right to that piece, just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and get my adhesive. And we're going to line this piece up. I'm lining up my score marks, making sure that this part that's on here does not go over the score that's on there. If it does, you can just remove a little tiny bit of it because you don't want it to go over. It'll impede your building process. Okay, there we go. We ensure that it's stuck down good, and then all right, now comes the folding. We're going to crease all of our folds. Okay, crease all the folds, and then here. All right. Now the next step, we're going to put these down. These are just reinforcements so that the top of our box looks like a nice folded edge instead of just a cut off edge. Both of these are gonna go down there, just reinforcements. Okay, we're just gonna put them down right away. All right, next, we're going to put them together like this. So this part here, the taller part, is the back, okay? That's important to remember because we want the front to fold over the back, and I'll show you what I mean, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're going to apply adhesive to these two tabs, and we're gonna sandwich these tabs in between these two side tabs so that we don't see it ever. Okay, so I'm gonna, and they're laid down, I'm going to apply adhesive to them, just like so. And then what's gonna happen, oops, I never folded these. It's generally better to do the folding before so you don't have that problem. But there we go. Okay, so now we're going to bring the back side up and we're going to attach these little tabs to the outside of those side tabs. And you want to make sure that it's nice and squared off too. Then I'm going to lay it down, and now we have this. Okay, now what's going to happen is these side pieces are going to come up and they are going to wrap to the front. And now the reason that we want that is because when we wrap it to the front, now in the front, you can see, let me shut the light off of it so it's not so bright. Okay, in the front here, you can see a nice folded edge. If we go around to the back, what you're going to see is that cut up edge. And I just like to make it look a little more finished. So that's why I always like to wrap my front around the back so that I don't see the unfinished edges. Just gotta grab some more adhesive real quick. As is always the case whenever I am filming a video, I run out. But lucky for me, my video filming adhesive is quick and easy. Okay. All right, now these are going to wrap around the front, squared off a nice edge. Okay. And then, there we go. So there is your finished first box. And then I like to I want to angle these side parts. So here's how I like to do it. I'm not real picky about it. I don't need to make sure that it lines up perfectly. So I sort of just do it myself. I'll use my big scissors and I put the tip of them here, or the tip of them at the end, and start them off in the corner, and I kind of just cut down. So now you can see we have a nice finished back box. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Our next one is going to be the pen holder. This one's kind of easy too. They're all really easy to put together. So for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to cut, I'm working on the long skinny side here. We're going to cut that off. Okay. Cut that off. And then we're going to cut all of these up, just straight up. Like so. Same thing on the top one. And it doesn't really matter what's top right now because they're exactly the same. So on one side of them, what we're going to do is I'm going to cut it. No, I'm not going to cut it down. I didn't mean that. I mean, I'm going to angle every single one of them. Whichever side you want to be your top. It really doesn't matter because like I said, they're both the same, but one side is going to be the top, which means these are just going to be folded down for reinforcements, and the other side is going to be the bottom. And if you want to, if these are too long for you, you can certainly just snip some of them off, which will help them to fold in better. But I just left it at a 1 inch because it's easier. The measurement was easier, I think. All right, next up, we're going to crease all of our folds. Just go around and crease everything like so. And then we're going to crease those. And we're going to crease the top ones. Then I'm just going to go ahead and you'll notice I'm not using very much adhesive, and that's because this is just for video. I'm not going to keep this one, so I'm not really worried about putting a whole lot into it. All right, so next up, what we want to do is we want to make sure that our front piece keeps a solid flap. So what we need to do is figure out which one is going to be our front piece. And the way that I do that is I fold it down flat like that, and wherever that meets up. So now I've got right here, you can see on the back where my tab is, that's my back one. I know that's the back. Okay, I know that's going to be the back. And this one right here then is my front. So I'm going to hold that out. And yep, I was right. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. The one that is second over from the tab, and that's if you chose the same side as your top. It might be different for you. So you just figure out which one is yours. And then for all of the rest of them, we're going to tab them, or we're going to angle them over a little bit because it will help us to put it together. But the one that is going to be folded back is going to stay whole. And also, if that is too complicated, then just go ahead and don't angle any of them. Okay? I'm just cleaning up my score marks on that straight one. All right, so now for this one, I'm going to fold this and I'm going to apply adhesive here. And the reason I like to do it in a fold rather than straight up is because now I know it's going to turn into a square. Okay, so I just put my adhesive there, and then no matter how I unfold it, that is going to be a square. Okay, so you can see how that worked out nice and square. Next up, we're going to tuck all of these in, and the only thing that's going to matter is that that front one folds last. Okay, so what I like to do, I'm just going to do it this way for ease of the video. I'm going to put a little bit of glue, hot glue there, a little bit of hot glue here, fold that one in, and then I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue there and fold that one in. And then I'm going to set it down and just ensure a really good stick. Now, if I was doing this for keeps or for a gift, I would definitely not use hot glue. Just because I'm not a huge, I mean, I know lots of people use hot glue for their projects. I'm just not a huge fan of the finished product when I use hot glue. But if you are, by all means, use hot glue. It'll be much easier. And that being said, when I put it together, I will be using hot glue to put it together. So it really wouldn't make a difference if I use hot glue, I guess, honestly. All right, next up, let's go to our next piece. That's going to be our small card holder. And I'm sure that you can already guess. We're gonna go ahead and remove this tab, just like that. Angled cut at the top, straight cut on the sides. Angled cut at the top, straight on the sides. Okay, then we're gonna come in here and we're gonna do straight cut, and then just for fun, or to improve our putting it together, we're going to angle that center one. Then we're gonna do the same thing. Straight cut on the side, angled cut on the top, angled cut on the top, turn it around, straight cut on the side, and then straight and straight, and then I know that adding the angled cuts to it adds a little bit of confusion, and I'm sorry, but trust me, it is worth it when you try to put it together. Sometimes you just don't cut it exactly right or exactly straight, and those hang over the edges. So it makes a huge difference if you are angling your edges, because it's gonna just help them come together nicely. Again, I'm putting down my top flaps. That's just my protection, or my added, or just to make it look nice, I think. Okay, I'm scoring, or I'm creasing all of my edges. And then this one is going to come together just like the last one. The only difference in this one is that there is no defined front, because they are the same size. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our little tiny tabs, and then I forgot to fold this fold. I always do. Okay. We're going to bring this one up. And you can see that I'm leaving this flat down because I'm going to put this side down to the table. And that's how I kind of make sure that it's squared off. Okay, and again, I stuck those tabs to the outside. And it's not necessarily something that you have to do. If you accidentally stick it to the inside, it's not a big deal. Oh, I was wrong. Okay. I guess I forgot that I cut this one with one longer than the other. All right, so we're gonna redo that. Clearly, there's a designed front and back. I'm sorry about that. All right, so let's try this again. There is a front and a back. This side is longer, so we're going to now attach these to the back side, the actual back side. So I'm gonna bring the back side up, and the back side is longer, so you'll know which one is your back side. Okay, we're gonna put those up there, and then adhere them like that. And then we're gonna take these side pieces, put some adhesive on them, and we're going to bring it up to the back. Okay, then I'm just going to put it down there and use my bone folder and a little bit of pressure to stick it together. And again, we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna cut these little angles in the side the same way. If you are more particular, you could draw them out and make them match up, but I think doing it this way, they match up just fine. So there's another one. Now that's done, and that's done. And you can see that our box is coming along nicely. Okay. Also, you can see how easy this is. If I wasn't teaching you, we're only at 28 minutes right now. And so you could put these together pretty quickly and have a few on hand. All right. Lastly, we're going to do this one. So we're going to do it exactly the same way. Straight cut on the side. Straight cut on the side. Straight cut on the side. And then I'm going to angle these small tabs. Okay. And then we're gonna do straight cut on the side. And then I'm gonna turn it around and I'm gonna angle cut this one, angle cut on the top, straight cut on the sides. Okay, I need to angle this one a little bit better. All right, straight cut on the side, straight cut on the side, angle, angle. There we go. Straight cut on the side, and then angle cut on the top, and lastly, angle cut on the top. Okay, we got those. Now we're going to put this together and put this together, and then crease all of our folds. I'm going to remember the center ones this time. There we go. All right, let's start off with the top and the bottom again, just like so, and fold those down. A little bit of extra adhesive there. All right, now for this one, there really is no design top or bottom. This is the one I was thinking I was doing last time. Okay, we're gonna run a little bit of adhesive on the tab there. Okay. And then we're going to bring our back side up and adhere it there. Okay. Then we're going to put adhesive on these front little tabs. And then again, we're going to bring it up, match it up, and adhere it. And then I'm going to stick my bone folder in there and apply the pressure. And there we have our front box. So now you can see we have the whole thing done just like that. About 30 minutes and we have put together the box. Now we will stick it together, and like I said, at this point you can still add things to it. Like I said, you could put a taller box in the back for actual slimline cards. You could put one of the things I was going to do is I was going to put a little side pocket out here for a notebook, which would have like an address type book or whatever. I decided to stop it here because I wanted it to be quick and easy, but you can add any number of things to this. Now I'm going to show you real quick how to put it together, okay? What we're going to start with is putting these two pieces together because they're the easiest to put together. I'm going to apply hot glue, and you can do this with wet glue if you want to. I like to use hot glue to do this part because, number one, when it dries really hard and it will add some stability to your project. And number two, it does dry very, very fast. You know, it cools off, and as soon as it's cooled off, it's dry. So that makes it a lot easier to put together. So I'm laying it flat on my desk to make sure that I get it nice and level, and I'm also standing it up to make sure that the bottom is level, okay? That easy, just like that. That's pretty important. The next step, we're going to attach this to this, okay? Now, how I like to do it, because I did not pre-decorate, I like to, because what I would do is I would probably build a few of these in just plain solid colors, and then later on I would decorate with different designs, different Christmas kits, different things, but you build them all out at once while you're watching a show or whatever, and it would be super easy because it does come together really easy. But how I like to do it, if I did not pre-decorate, what I want to do is I do not want to put adhesive up here because I want to be able to slip down the pattern paper so that it looks like it's fully covered, okay? And I will show you what I mean, but for now, I'm just going to put adhesive about 1/3 of the way down. Okay, just like so. And then with it standing up, I'm going to bring it to the kit, or to the back of the box, and then I'm going to make sure it does appear that a little tiny bit of it will overhang, but once you decorate the side, that won't show because it's just a little tiny bit. Okay, now we've got that on there, and then last we're going to do this one. And again, make sure that you are putting the back to the front of the last one, because then you won't see those edges, okay? Again, I'm going to only put my adhesive about 1/3 of the way down. Okay, and we're going to stand it up and make sure that she lines up nicely. Okay, and there is our box. We have created the whole box. It was that simple. Pretty easy, huh? Really, really simple. Now you're just going to go ahead and cover it and decorate it in any way that you like, so that when you're done, it will look like this. Pretty cool, huh? This is a very simple decoration. All I did was one of the chipboards from the collection, put it on the front, and then everything else, let me take everything out so you can see. Everything else is just patterned paper. There you go. And you can see I didn't go all the way down to the bottom in there. I didn't go all the way down to the bottom in any of them. I don't think you can see very well, but everything is lined. And then what happens is these, I just tuck them down in there a little bit. I'm going to show you with this white piece of paper. You can see, oh no, because I did it here. Oh no, I didn't. Okay. You can see I can just tuck that down in there. And that's what you can do with your pattern paper. And the reason mine isn't going all the way down is because I did do the side paper. Don't do the side paper last so that you can tuck it in there a lot easier. And then when I was done, I did glue the sides together so that it stuck a little closer. So like here you can tell it's coming apart a little bit. So I did stick some glue in there after I put the pattern paper in. Okay. So now we've got all that. We're gonna I'm gonna show you how I did the tags and the cards and give you the measurements for that. Okay. Like I said, all of these tags are just done. Actually, these are done with the sticker book. I just used the sticker book and made the tags from the scraps of the paper that I had from cutting out all the pieces of the paper. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. So what we're going to do to make your cards, to make the slimline cards, you need a piece that is 7 by 6. I think I have 5 in my book. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, I have 5 in my book. So I cut 5 pieces that are 7 by 6 out of the 110 pound cardstock. And then with the scrap that I had from that, I cut out the same amount, 5 pieces that are 4 by 5. So I was able to get both of these, so like one of the big cards and one of the small cards from one sheet of paper. And then I used the rest to make the tags. Okay, and with these, it's really simple. All you do is fold them in half like this. Okay, pretty easy. You score them at 3.5 and at 2.5, and then you'll have your finished card. And then you just decorate it however you want. We're not going to go ahead and do that. But then the last thing that I'm going to show you is the envelopes, because they're a little bit tricky, but once you get the hang of them, it's really easy. You can knock out a whole bunch of them. Okay, so to make the large envelope, we're going to use a piece that is 8 1/8 by 8 1/8. Okay, that's our piece here. And we're going to score it at, on one of the sides, we're going to score it at 2 1/8 on both sides. Okay, 2 1/8 on both sides. And then we're going to turn it around and we're going to score it at 1 1/4 and 7.5. Pretty simple. Then, so this is what you have now. We're going to go ahead and just like the other one, well, not quite just like the other one. On this one, we're going to straight cut on both of them. So we're going to straight cut this little rectangle out. On all 4 corners, there's a little rectangle. The bottom ones are littler than the top ones, but there's a little rectangle on all 4 corners, and we're just going to cut it out. On the bottom one, you can angle it. Okay? On the bottom, we'll angle this one. Oh yeah, all the way around you can angle the bottom. On the sides, you want to angle those too, sorry. So we're going to angle this one. Just a little angle on these ones though. Okay, so on these, the bottoms, I angled both sides. And on the top, I straight cut it on both sides. So we're gonna just straight cut out the triangle, or the rectangle, I'm sorry, not triangle. I know my shapes. All right, then what I like to do, because I want to have a little bit of an opening, I'm going to gently bring the sides together. I am not going to fold it. I do not want to put a crease in it. I am just gonna gently fold it. And then I'm going to cut in to that score mark. What that's going to do is give me a little bit of a V mark here at the top. Okay, so that's all you got to do. And then we fold it all in. I'm gonna fold this piece in. Ooh, I get so angry when I do that. It runs off the edge and I should not be doing it on my desk. But, oh well. We'll wipe it off. This adhesive does not remove as easy as my score tape, or not my score tape, my ATG gun. All right, so then we're gonna fold this over and fold this over, and now that's the makings of an envelope. Then we're gonna take this piece and it's gonna fold up there like so, just like that, okay? Lastly, we take this, and the reason we have to do it after we fold it is because, well, uh-oh, that's not good. It would appear that I have misplaced my corner rounder. Okay, so you won't corner round it, but you do, it does look nice if you corner round these. But then all you're gonna do is fold that over. I'll corner round it later. And there you have your lovely little envelope. And your card will fit in there perfectly. Just like so. That's your big one, okay? I would definitely corner round the edges, and I'll show you a finished one where I did corner round it, but I can't seem to find my corner rounder. So that's what it will look like after you corner round it. Okay, that's the finished one. All right, lastly, we're gonna go ahead and create the tiny one. For this one, your piece of paper is 5 3/4 by 5 7/8. On the 5 7/8 side, you're going to score it at 1.5 and 4.5. Or I'm sorry, 1.5 and 4 1/4. Okay. On the 5 3/4 side, you're going to score it at 1 and 5 1/8. So 1 and 5 1/8 on the 5 3/4 side. And then you're going to put this one together just like the last one. On the bottom, we can angle cut the rectangle out. I can angle both sides. And then on the top, we will angle cut, or no, not angle cut, straight cut the rectangle out. Just like so. And then again, we're going to do the same thing. We don't want to crease it, so make sure you don't crease it. Okay? We're going to bring them together. And the way that I did it is I line up here, because these two pieces aren't the same size. Okay? So I lined up my corners and then I angled it. Okay, then we're going to bring this in like so. Bring this in just like so. And then we're going to adhere that piece and bring this piece up just like that. Again, we would round the corners on the top part of this, and then our little mini card will fit right in there. And again, I'll show you what the one will look like if you round the corners. So that's the finished one with the rounded corners. I believe that this is 28-pound printer paper. It is not as sturdy, it's not cardstock, and that's what I wanted my envelope to just be a little bit sturdier than patterned paper. So there's our envelopes, and the next thing that you have to do is to just get creative and decorate it in any way that you choose, and then put together your cards and your envelopes and your tags. I cut my tags out of just scrap paper. You can tell they're all different sizes, and then I figured I would write to and from on the back. And the only other thing that I did is on these ones, because the base of the card was black, I did stick a piece of white paper on the inside so that I could write in them. And I may or may not stamp a little sentiment on the inside too. We'll see, because I don't think all of them had a sentiment. Oh, be merry, a very Merry Christmas 'tis the season. I guess they all did have a sentiment on them. We'll have to see what I feel like. But anyways, that is my project, and we did it in just under 45 minutes, complete with all of my talking. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you make one. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email or leave a comment down below. I do check them for the first couple of weeks that I have a video out. So go ahead, leave a comment, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye bye now.